A global affairs analyst, Ejike Okpa, joins me now from Dallas, Texas, in the United States for more on the controversial investigation. Thank you so much for joining us on World Now. Monday's FBI raid on the home of former President Donald Trump, including a safe, has raised eyebrows and questions about what the search could indicate about the possible criminal investigation into the former president and those around him. What has been your reading of this development?
Well, thank you for having me on your show. The reading has been very mixed. Trump himself has been a Latin rod because, since he ran and won the first term, for the 4 years he was in office, everybody, Democrats somehow just wanted everything to be thrown at him, and they impeached him twice. And since he left office, the same thing has continued. The issues about his business practices, again, we have to separate that. It's not about Trump himself, it's about the organization. Just like people have said, they filed a bankruptcy. Trump never, filed a personal bankruptcy, but he's filed a bankruptcy on some of his businesses. So that distinction has to be made. As to, the recent raid at his house, by the FBI, there are mixed reactions, and then those reactions are always going to be on what side of the political aisle, one is. At the same time, Americans are beginning to, say what is going on, because I don't think in my 30-something years living in America, I have never seen an ex-president being persecuted and being treated and chased around in the way Trump is being chased around. He's not an ordinary citizen, not somebody that can hide anywhere. So if there are some documents that are in his home, I think, they should have gone to court, get a judgment, and demand him to release those documents as opposed to a raid. When you raid somebody's house like that, it's just typical what they do to common criminals, not a former president. I don't think any court has convicted him to where anybody can call him a criminal. So we are watching, as Americans, some people are upset and pissed off. Some people are quiet about it because, again, if this happens to a former president, who knows? Are we setting a precedent that he can go on to another president? I hope not. But, this is just a shock to the nation and to the world.
Well, you're sounding like this is more like politically motivated, but then we don't know yet what exactly the FBI recovered on the raid, and the DOJ has not commented about the raid or investigation. So what possible crimes would be under investigation here?
Well, when he left office, there was this allegation that he took some documents, that are classified. And so the FBI, when a president is leaving office, all the presidential papers are secured, and they're often taken into a secured warehouse until they build their presidential library. And then that document is now, the National Archive will take care of it, secure it until it's put in the presidential library. And some of it is classified such that the only way you can read it if you get access. Someone just made public. So that is what this is about. They say 10 or 15 boxes is what he took, but nobody knows what are in those boxes. I don't know how much of American presidential thing you know, but when Clinton left office, there was accusation that, Mrs. Clinton, took some plates, China from the White House. It took a year or so before they were able to turn it over and send it back, because there are strict rules to what is a personal asset of a president and what's public. So we don't know what the FBI turned up with. Nobody has said what are in those boxes. Maybe they go to court and try to find out what are in the boxes, whether the FBI were successful in getting the information or the documents they were looking for. So again, it just happened, but the reaction has been very fierce. And, a lot of people, again, depending on what side you are, whether you're happy because, it's about Trump, or whether you are dismayed.
Right. Very quickly, Very quickly, Mr. Okpa, politically speaking, the raid comes as the January 6th hearings have already caused some damage to the former president's reputation. And Mr. Trump is not simply a former president, he's considering another run for the office in 2024. So could these investigations stop him from running?
Again, until he's convicted, remember, politics is never about the angels in them, it's about the angles. So until he's convicted, until there's an indictment, or, so whether he's going to run or not run, it's all entirely up to him to make that determination. January 6th is looking for information in order to either bring charges or to, some people having pride out of that effort. But nothing has so far been done on Trump. Again, he's the big fish. He's the big fish, and he's a very big fish globally and internationally. So there are going to be people who are interested to see him fall. The fear is that if he declares to run again, it will be hard for any Democrat to beat him. I don't know whether that is their strategy to discredit him so that he wouldn't be able to do it. We don't know. And then
Right.
November is our general election, and then we'll find out whether the Democrats are still controlling the houses or is it going to be a flip.
Right, quite understandable. We understand that Mr. Trump is a key member of your party, the Republican. But all the same, we'll see how the whole thing pans out. The whole thing pan out at the end of the day. From Dallas, global affairs analyst Ejike Okpa. Thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you for having me on your show.